Child support. Nightmare. Why I pay thousands while having equal custody time, and what you need to know before it happens to you. Hey everyone, I never thought I'd be making a video like this, but here I am, hoping my story helps someone out there avoid the nightmare I've been living. If you're going through a divorce or separation where kids are involved, this might be the most important video you'll ever watch. Trust me, I wish someone had warned me. How it all started. 3 years ago, my wife Sarah and I decided to end our 10-year marriage. It wasn't what either of us had planned when we said our vows, but sometimes life takes unexpected turns. We have 2 amazing kids, Emma, who's 9, and Tyler, who's 7. From the beginning, we both agreed on one thing. No matter what happened between us, our children deserved to have both parents equally in their lives. The divorce itself was surprisingly amicable at first. We agreed on 50-50 custody, 1 week with me, 1 week with her. We both have stable jobs, our own homes, and genuinely want what's best for the kids. I'm a project manager at a construction company, making about $85,000 a year. Sarah works as a marketing executive, making roughly the same, maybe a bit more with her bonuses. Here's where things took a turn I never saw coming. The day everything changed. Mr. Reynolds, based on the state guidelines and the income differential, you'll be paying $2,150 per month in child support. Those words from the judge might as well have been a physical blow. I actually felt dizzy standing there in the courtroom. But, Your Honor, I managed to say, we have the children equally. We split all their expenses down the middle already. How can this be right? The judge looked at me with what I can only describe as practiced indifference. The calculator doesn't factor in custody time the way you might expect, Mr. Reynolds. This is the standard amount based on your income differential. I looked over at Sarah, expecting to see some recognition of how insane this was. Instead, she was nodding along with her attorney, avoiding eye contact, the math that doesn't add up. Let me break down what $2,150 a month means to my financial reality. My take-home pay after taxes is about $5,200 monthly. My mortgage is $1,800, car payment $450, insurance, home, auto, life $380, utilities $300, my own basic needs, food, gas, etc. $600, healthcare premiums $280. That leaves me with roughly $1,390 for everything else, including all expenses when my kids are with me, 50% of the time. Clothing, activities, school supplies for my time, any emergencies or unexpected costs, saving for retirement or college funds. Meanwhile, Sarah takes home about the same amount, but gets an additional $2,150 from me every month. The math is mind-boggling. She effectively has $7,350 to my $3,050, despite us having the kids the exact same amount of time. But it's for the children. That's what everyone says, right? But here's the reality no one talks about. Child support payments have zero accountability. None. There's no requirement for Sarah to show how that money is spent. No proof needed that it goes toward the kids. Don't get me wrong, Sarah is a good mom. But is all that money going to the kids? When she took a luxury vacation to Bali last summer while I was living paycheck to paycheck, I had my doubts. When she bought a new Mercedes while I'm driving my 8-year-old Honda, it raised questions. The most frustrating part, when the kids are with me, I still pay for everything they need. Their food, activities, clothing, everything. The child support doesn't follow the child, as you might logically expect. It's just a direct transfer of wealth from one parent to another. The system is broken. Here's what no one tells you about family court and child support. 1. Equal custody doesn't mean equal financial responsibility. Even with 50-50 parenting time, one parent can be ordered to pay massive amounts to the other. 2. The formulas are outdated and broken. Most state guidelines were developed decades ago when one parent, usually the father, had visitation while the mother had primary custody. They haven't caught up to modern co-parenting arrangements. 3. Income, not expenses, drives the calculations. The actual costs of raising the children aren't calculated, it's just arbitrary percentages of income. 4. There's no accountability for how the money is spent. Once the money leaves your account, you have zero say in how it's used. 5. Modifications are extremely difficult. Unless there's a substantial change in circumstances, like losing your job, getting a modification is nearly impossible. The emotional toll. Beyond the financial strain, the psychological impact has been crushing. I work 60-plus hours per week now, taking any overtime I can get just to stay afloat. This means when I do have my kids, I'm often exhausted or still working from home. The most soul-destroying part? When Emma asked me last month why we couldn't go to Disney World like they did with Mom, I had to make up an excuse about being too busy with work. How do you tell your 9-year-old that you can't afford it because you're sending Mommy thousands of dollars every month? I've had nights where I've sat in my car in the garage, broken down in tears, wondering how I'll make it financially. The stress has affected my health. I've developed high blood pressure, insomnia, and anxiety. My doctor says it's all stress-related. The breaking point. 6 months ago, I reached out to Sarah to discuss reducing the payments. My company had announced layoffs, and while I kept my job, I lost my annual bonus, which was about 10% of my income. I wasn't asking to eliminate support, just reduce it to something more reasonable given our equal parenting arrangement. Her response? If you try to modify the order, I'll fight it. I'll tell the court you're not really taking care of the kids on your time. I'll ask for full custody. Do you really want to risk seeing your kids only every other weekend? It was a threat, plain and simple. She knew that fighting her in court would cost me thousands in legal fees with an uncertain outcome. The court might even increase my payments if her attorney painted me in a negative light. What you need to know before it happens to you. If you're heading toward divorce or separation and have children, here's what I wish someone had told me. 1. Understand your state's laws before agreeing to anything. Every state has different formulas for calculating child support. Some states give more consideration to equal parenting time than others. Know exactly what you're facing financially before you agree to any custody arrangement. In my state, having the kids 30% of the time versus 50% of the time would have made almost no difference in what I pay. Had I known that, I might have negotiated other aspects of the settlement differently. 2. Document everything. From the beginning, keep meticulous records of all time spent with your children, every expense you pay directly for the children, all communication with your ex about financial matters, your involvement in school, medical appointments, and activities. I wish I had documented how Sarah and I initially agreed to split all expenses 50-50 in addition to equal custody. Having that in writing might have helped my case. 3. Get the right attorney. Not all family law attorneys are created equal. Some just want to settle quickly and move on. Find someone who specializes in cases like yours, particularly if you're seeking equal custody with fair financial arrangements. My first attorney told me the child support calculation was just how it works, and didn't fight for me. Only later did I learn there were arguments that could have been made for deviation from the guidelines. 4. Consider mediation over litigation. Court battles are expensive, emotionally draining, and unpredictable. Mediation gives you more control over the outcome and can result in more creative solutions that work for both parties. Sarah and I went straight to court because we thought we needed a judge to make it official. A skilled mediator might have helped us create a truly equitable financial arrangement. 5. Understand tax implications. Child support isn't tax-deductible for the payer, and it's not taxable income for the recipient. However, who claims the children as dependents can make a huge difference in tax benefits. This should be part of your negotiation. In my case, we alternate years claiming the kids, but given the support I pay, I should probably claim them every year. That would have been another $4,000 annually in my pocket. 6. Get specific about additional expenses. Child support is supposed to cover basics like food, housing, and clothing. But what about sports fees, summer camps, school trips, or medical expenses? Get specific about how these costs will be divided to avoid ongoing conflicts. Our decree simply says parents will share equally in additional expenses, which has led to endless disagreements about what constitutes a necessary expense versus an optional one. 7. Include provisions for modification. Build into your agreement specific triggers for when support can be reviewed. Job changes, significant income increases or decreases, changes in the children's needs, etc. I have to demonstrate a substantial change in circumstances to even get a hearing, which sets an incredibly high bar, the reality no one talks about. Here's the dark truth about the system. It's designed to be punitive rather than supportive of co-parenting. Despite all the modern talk about fathers being equal parents, the family court system still largely treats dads as wallets, not parents. Last month, I was late on my payment by 3 days due to a banking error. The state automatically sent me a threatening letter about license suspension and potential jail time. 3 days late, for the first time ever. Meanwhile, when Sarah consistently brings the kids back late from her time, there's zero enforcement mechanism. The double standard is staggering. If I miss a payment, immediate consequences, threats, penalties. If she interferes with my parenting time, try to work it out between yourselves. Finding a way forward. So where am I now? Still paying $2,250 a month while having my kids 50% of the time. Still working extra hours to make ends meet. Still fighting to stay positive for my children. I've found a few strategies that have helped. 1. Building a support network. I've connected with other parents in similar situations. Just knowing I'm not alone has been incredibly valuable for my mental health. 2. Focusing on quality time. When I have my kids, I make every moment count. We have game nights, cook together, and focus on experiences that don't cost much money. 3. Looking for additional income streams. I've started a small side business doing project consulting on weekends when I don't have the kids. 4. Documenting inequities for an eventual modification. I'm keeping detailed records of all expenses, time, and incidents for when I eventually go back to court. 5. Therapy. I finally admitted I needed help processing the anger and resentment. It's been a game changer for my mental health. The conversation we need to have. As a society, we need to have an honest conversation about whether our child support systems are truly serving children's best interests. When one parent is financially crippled while the other receives a windfall, how does that benefit the children? When a father works 60-plus hours to make payments and then lacks quality time and energy for his children, who wins? The current system creates unnecessary conflict between parents and often incentivizes blocking equal custody to maintain higher support payments. It pits parents against each other when they should be partners in raising their children. What we need is a system that recognizes the actual costs of raising children, accounts fairly for shared parenting arrangements, creates accountability for how support money is used, focuses on the children's relationship with both parents, updates outdated formulas to reflect modern families. What I want my kids to know. Someday, Emma and Tyler, if you ever see this video when you're older, I want you to know something. Every payment, every extra hour worked. Every sacrifice I made was worth it to be your dad. The system may be broken, but my love for you never was. I didn't fight these battles because I wanted to spend less on you. I fought because I wanted to be able to provide for you during my time with you too. When you couldn't understand why we couldn't take certain trips or buy certain things that were happening at your mom's house, it wasn't because I didn't want to give you the world. It was because I was already giving everything I could just to keep our home and time together. For those going through this. Now, if you're watching this and facing a similar situation, remember, 1. You're not alone. Millions of parents, mostly fathers but increasingly mothers too, are caught in this same trap. 2. Your value as a parent isn't measured in dollars. Your children need your love, time, and guidance more than anything money can buy. 3. Document everything, but shield your children from the conflict. Never speak negatively about their other parent, no matter how justified your frustration. 4. Take care of your mental health. You can't be there for your kids if you're falling apart. 5. Know your rights and keep fighting for fair treatment. The system won't change unless we demand it. And finally, to the lawmakers, judges, and policymakers watching. The family court system is destroying families, not supporting them. Equal parents deserve equal financial treatment. Child support should be about meeting children's needs, not creating one wealthy household and one impoverished one. How things stand today. It's been 3 years since that day in court when my financial future was decided in a 15-minute hearing. Emma is now 9, Tyler is 7, and they're thriving despite the challenges. Kids are remarkably resilient. I've had to make peace with my situation for now. I focus on being the best dad I can be with the resources I have. I've sold my home and downsized to a smaller apartment to make the numbers work. I've given up retirement savings for the time being. I've made sacrifice after sacrifice. Sarah and I still barely speak, except about logistics for the kids. The financial arrangement has poisoned any chance of us having a healthy co-parenting relationship. She sees my struggles, but benefits too much from the status quo to consider change. My modification hearing is finally scheduled for next month, after 2 years of waiting and $8,000 in legal fees. I'm not optimistic, but I have to try. My attorney thinks we might get a reduction of $300 to $400 per month if we're lucky. That would be life-changing for me at this point. A final thought. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this. The time to protect yourself and your children from this broken system is before you sign any agreements. Once the orders are in place, you're fighting an uphill battle against a system designed to resist change. Get educated. Get a great attorney. Understand exactly what you're agreeing to. Fight for truly equitable arrangements that allow both parents to provide healthy, stable homes. And if you're already caught in this nightmare like me, don't give up. Keep fighting for what's right. Our children deserve parents who can be present, financially stable, and emotionally healthy. The system may be broken, but our spirits don't have to be. Thank you for listening to my story. If it helps even one parent avoid the pit I've fallen into, sharing these painful details will have been worth it. Please share this video with anyone you know who's facing divorce or separation with children involved. The information here could save them years of financial and emotional hardship. And remember, no matter how dark it gets, keep showing up for your kids. They need you, not your money. Disclaimer. This video represents my personal experience with the child support system in my state. Laws vary by location. Always consult with a qualified family law attorney about your specific situation.